Hey gentlemen, welcome to the woods. We've got what I would characterize as a fun hunt today. The property owners here were gracious enough to let me hunt, but we've got does on the menu, bucks on the menu, and turkeys on the menu. My dad is a couple hundred yards into the property from me, so basically everything except young bucks is on the menu. There are turkeys out feeding in what looks like a winter wheat or rye crop that was put in after they harvested the field earlier this year. So kind of a cool thing to see. And I'm up in a ladder stand, which I don't hunt in all that often, but a nice preset here, wind in my face. We've got one camera on this property that's got deer moving pretty consistently, so I expect to see something. And like I said, if a doe, of good size comes underneath the stand tonight, I think she's gonna catch an arrow. So let's go ahead and settle in and hopefully have a little bit of fun today. Current time is 4. We have 3 hours to sit, and I wouldn't expect to see them for another couple of hours, but you never know. This time of year, bucks getting excited, rut it up a little bit, things can change very quickly. The date is October 26th, so big wild card time of year. There's a big turkey out in the field right now, a few hundred yards away. I think I count 6 or 8 of them. They're on their way here. We'll see what happens. We just had a young buck out in the field, a couple hundred yards away, but he was marching down my edge on his way to me, and cut into the woods about halfway to me. So I literally thought to myself that, that temperature drop that happens, where that cold air kind of sweeps through an area, and just gotten that, and then I look over and there's a buck on his feet. So the timing makes total sense. Those thermals start dropping and they hop right up. Holy shit, he's gonna come in. that buck standing in here at less than 20 yards for at least half an hour, just waiting for him to give me a freaking angle through these trees, and he never did. And he moved over here to 15 yards and stood broadside, and there was a 4-point that came down the other end of the field and went nose to nose with him. I thought they were going to start sparring, and he stopped in a gap, and I shot. And even though he was stopped in a gap, I still caught a freaking deflection on the way to him, and I hit him high, and he dropped. And when he dropped, he fell into a spot where I could hit him again, and I just shot him again. You know, man, it sucks, but you know, whatever the time it took me to knock another arrow and shoot again is all it took to kill him. So this was just supposed to be a little doe hunt, and I shot my buck for this season in Ohio. My God. Let me make a call real quick.
Hello.
Hey, it's gonna be a lot less stressful now.
What?
I got a buck laying on the ground.
How big?
He came in at last light-ish, and he's out past his ears. He's pretty good. I don't think he's bigger than last year's, but he's a solid deer.
Nice.
He was really solid, and he came in and he was hanging out with me at like 20 yards, and he's like kind of hemming and hawing, raking his antlers through some branches and like nibbling on some stuff, and then he'd walk a couple steps and he just wouldn't stand in a gap long enough. And then I turned and look over my right shoulder because he kept looking past me, and there's a 4-point walking down the field edge towards him, and they met in a gap where I could have shot either of them. I took a shot on the bigger one, and he's dead right here.
Oh my gosh. We're not prepared for that today.
I was not. I don't even have a knife with me.
Oh. He's on the ground?
He's dead.
You can see him?
He's dead, yeah. I see him.
Nice.
I see my knot glowing.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Alrighty guys, it is the next morning. Kind of tough to film in the dark like that, so I wanted to bring him out for you in the sun and show him off to you a little bit better here. But this is the Ohio buck for 2025, and I am extremely excited about this deer. Feel super lucky to be able to get a shot off on him. He's got some rub marks down in the bases of his antlers. He's my perfect like proportions on a buck. Like if you were to tell somebody to go and draw you a picture of a whitetail buck, it would probably look just like this one. Really cool 4x4, nice symmetry. This is actually the first buck I've ever shot that didn't have any snapped off points. He's fully intact, which is pretty cool. But yeah, overall, just a really pretty deer. And you know, last year I shot the biggest buck of my life, and I told myself from here on out, I'm shooting whatever gets me excited. And I watched this guy for quite a while. I had binos up on him, you know, from 300 yards all the way into 20 yards, and I was studying him and trying to learn a little bit more about him because I had the time, and pretty relaxed situation overall. But at some point I was making the decision on whether or not to shoot him, and then I realized as I was trying to turn the camera to catch the shot or catch the bucks moving on film, I was shaking so bad that I could hardly turn the camera, and I was like, that counts as being pretty excited, I think. So went ahead and took the shot on him. He weighed in at 165 on the scales, dressed last night, so pretty big bodied deer, solid overall, super excited for him. Yeah, we've got Pennsylvania and West Virginia coming up. We've also got a weekend during the rut where we're going to be camping out on some state game land, me and the boys. And now my goal shifts from killing a big buck out there to hopefully filming them shoot something like this, or hopefully bigger. So that's going to be a ton of fun. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Appreciate you sticking around to the end with me. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.